What's up everybody, welcome back. So in this video we're going to be taking a look at a double Gust team comp, basically featuring the brand new Gust Shadow Staraptor along with Gust Pidgeot in the Open Great League. Now I'm going to be using Swampert as my anti-flyer in this particular team comp, and I tried out Staraptor as the lead in my previous video. Do check that out, the link is in the description. But I also wanted to try it out as a closer or as a potential save swap in this team comp. I mean, obviously it kind of works better as a save swap in this team because it has that coverage move as opposed to Pidgeot, which gets completely walled by certain steel types, right? But then again, it isn't the most perfect team comp out there, but we had a lot of fun with it and there were some really exciting battles in here. Let's get straight into it. So we have a Swampert into the Nidoqueen. That's actually a pretty solid matchup. And as soon as they switch into the Umbreon, at this point it's pretty obvious that it is the Nidoqueen double dark line, the standard double dark line with Scrafty in the back. So we basically soak up the foul play there and immediately switch into my Staraptor right now. And because Umbreon isn't applying as much pressure with its fast moves, I can actually live one foul play here, and they're gonna have to go for the second foul play to KO, right? I'm actually gonna try and build up to the two close combats right now, and I'm gonna definitely shield this foul play, and we should be able to get to two close combats before they can get to another foul play, right? So if they want to win switch advantage, they have to burn both their shields, which is okay by me. I'm going for the first close combat here, gets the shield from Umbreon, so they're obviously pretty desperate to win switch advantage. I'm able to get to the second close combat as well. This actually gets the second shield from Umbreon as well, and obviously they don't want my Swampert and their Nidoqueen, right? Which is understandable. Obviously switch advantage would be really nice because I can have my Pidgeot and their Scrafty as well, but that's okay. I'm just gonna basically come in my Pidgeot and start loading up on energy right now. Gust is basically doing a lot of damage to Umbreon, and I'm gonna let the second foul play go through as well, and I'm probably gonna shield the third one, and I'm gonna commit to the full farm down here, right? I'm just gonna fully farm down. Again, Pidgeot with this much of a loaded energy is gonna be absolutely devastating. So we're going to basically fully farm down here, expecting the Nidoqueen to come back in. So immediately switching to my Swampert and going for the Hydro Cannon, trying to catch them off guard here. This is almost going to one-shot the Nidoqueen. Unfortunately, doesn't quite one-shot because it isn't Shadow. Out comes Crafty as expected, but we're almost at the back-to-back Hydro Cannons right now. I'm going for the first one here. It does over 50% of Scrafty's health. I'm able to get to the second Hydro Cannon. This is absolutely massive because this almost guarantees the win, right? Back in comes Nidoqueen, and we have a move stored up on Pidgeot. I should be going for the Brave Bird, but I mean, this is well within Feather Dance range, so Feather Dance is going to be able to take it out there. So in spite of losing the mid game, I mean, honestly, winning switch advantage was pretty crucial there. We were still able to pull it off with a little bit of an energy advantage there. Moving on to the next round here, we have a Swampert Mirror. Honestly, this team doesn't have a best response to a Swampert, so I'm basically going to stay in and try and catch a move on Pidgeot. The reason I save switch into Pidgeot this time is because Pidgeot can live a Hydro Cannon coming from Shadow Swampert, whereas Staraptor can't, right? And they actually make a switch into the Araquanid, which is really puzzling because this is a pretty poor matchup for Araquanid, right? And they actually go for Bubble Beam. I'm trying to get to a Brave Bird, but we die just as we have a Brave Bird. That is very unfortunate because at this point, I'm going to have to come to my Staraptor, but actually ends up being a blessing in disguise because I can basically over-farm with Staraptor, and Staraptor with loaded energy is absolutely devastating here. And again, they go for the Bubble Beam debuff. That's completely fine. We fully farm down here and we have a lot of loaded energy. And the fact that they came out with their Araquanid tells me that whatever they have in the back would be extremely weak to flying. They come back with their Swampert. Again, they could be very, very weak to flying in the back, which is actually pretty good for a Staraptor. So I'm going to go for the close combat here, and I'm going to shield this up. Now remember, we still have a Hydro Cannon loaded on our Swampert, right? So all I need to do is get to this close combat and get their final shield. If they shield this almost confirms the fact that they're really weak to Staraptor in the back. They do shield. We immediately switch into the Swampert, go for the Hydro Cannon here. This Hydro Cannon will be easily taking out the opposing Swampert. And let's see what they have in the back. They have a Trevenant, so understandable why they were so fearful. And they decided to concede the match because we still had an almost half-health Staraptor with a shield advantage. And there's nothing they could have done. Even if they're taken out my Swampert, there's nothing much they could have done from that situation there. Moving on to the next round here, we have a Swampert into a Walrein. Now, Walrein is definitely one of the toughest Pokemon to deal with for this particular team. It is an absolute core breaker because it beats all three of my Pokemon. So I have to stay in with my Swampert because Swampert obviously has the best matchup out of the three Pokemon on this team. And yeah, I'm just going to basically let this go through here. We live an Icicle Spear, and then I'm going for the second Hydro Cannon right now. I was actually trying to bait a shield. I mean, I tried to build up to an Earthquake and then went for the Hydro. This is obviously one of those matchups where Earthquake is obviously preferred over Sludge Wave because it hits harder, right? Because of the stab for the Earthquake from Swampert. They actually make a switch into their Nidoqueen, I guess to try and get ahead on energy. They actually do shield that. I guess that was kind of smart play on their part, understanding that Swampert is my only counter to a Nidoqueen. I could have probably had another counter as well, but they sort of took that chance, and they go for the second Poison Fang here. Now, the thing is, we barely live this Poison Fang, right? I don't have to shield this. We survive with very minimum HP, even though my Pidgeot doesn't have the best PvP IVs. I go for the Brave Bird here, which will easily knock out the Nidoqueen from this range, and I'm going to come in with my Staraptor, and this is where I make a huge mistake, right? I actually should have shielded this, because I was, for some reason, assuming that Walrein had the back-to-back moves. As you can see, Foul Play did about 80% of Staraptor's health, right? That just way more than I thought it would. And honestly, even if I should have shielded that, even if the Walrein had back-to-back, I could have CMP'd on the second Icicle Spear and I could have won that game, but I definitely threw that by playing that pretty poorly there. Moving on to the next turn here, we have another Swampert in the lead. I tried to switch into my Pidgeot to catch, but this time they overfarm a little bit more than just a Hydro Cannon and then throw the Hydro Cannon. That's completely fine by me. And the fact that they're not switching out tells me that they could be weak to flying in the back. So I do want to shield this up here, because if they had a hard counter, they would have brought it out right away, right? And they make a switch into their Mandibuzz. Now, because most people don't tend to shield their Mandibuzz, because obviously Mandibuzz is so tanky. So I go straight for the Brave Bird, but they do shield this time. So that is unfortunate. That's okay. They still have to go for a move to KO, because Snarl isn't doing enough damage in spite of the debuff. Foul Play does take out the Pidgeot. Now, I don't really want to reveal what I have in the back. So they clearly don't have a response to a flyer. So I basically come back with my Swampert here, and we live a Foul Play, right? Whatever one move they throw, we can tank it. Even if it was Shadow Ball, we could have lived that. But anyways, I'm just going to try and build up as much energy as I can. Going for the Hydro Cannon here. It's going to do about 40% of Mandibuzz's health. I mean, around 35 actually. So I'm able to get to the second Hydro Cannon as well. This is going to put this Mandibuzz extremely low. And I'm going to try and snipe with my Staraptor, which we managed to do. We get the Gust through. That takes out the Mandibuzz, which is huge right now. And let's see what they come in with. That they come back with their Swampert. And now they actually load up a little bit of energy and then switch it to their Alolan. That's actually a very smart play on their part, because they realized that they needed that energy advantage on Swampert. Now this is a solid matchup for Staraptor, because both Shadow Bone and Bone Club are double resisted. But although those fire spins are adding up, and I'm forced to throw a Brave Bird right now. Brave Bird gets the shield from the Alolan Marowak, and I'm going to overfarm just a little bit more so that I can outpace Swampert there. So I'll go for the Hydro Cannon right away, and Hydro Cannon is going to be taking out the Alolan Marowak, and basically Swampert needs 2 Hydro Cannons, and we should be able to outpace, right? I get to this Hydro Cannon here, and yeah, they almost for sure had a Hydro Cannon there, but they obviously needed 2 of those, and I guess they were trying to one-shot down. That's probably their only win con if they couldn't get to 2 of those there. So pretty close, and honestly, it was a lot closer than probably should have been, but luckily we were able to pull it off. Another Swampert lead here, and we're going to play it out the same way right now. We're going to bank a Hydro Cannon and then catch on the Pidgeot. Again, Staraptor is the better save swap in this team, but like I mentioned as well, Hydro Cannon from Shadow Swampert would pretty much one-shot a Shadow Staraptor, which is why I come in with my Pidgeot. They come in with their K9, which is completely okay, because obviously Swampert has a solid matchup against Kanto Ninetales, right? And they throw, which is great, because they're completely dry on energy right now, so I'm going to overfarm just a little bit more and then throw the Hydro Cannon. I don't really even want to take a Weather Ball, because the Weather Ball from a Shadow Ninetales would still do quite a bit of damage in spite of being resisted, and they have a Sableye in the back. So I'm going for the Hydro Cannon here. Again, this is exactly what you want to see, because Staraptor has a pretty solid matchup against Sableye. Trying to get to the next Hydro Cannon ends up being a CMP tie. That is very unfortunate. I definitely need to preserve my Swampert here, which is why I also, as you can see, I decided to fully undercharge this Hydro Cannon. Actually, they end up shielding, which is actually even better for me, right? Because I'm going to be able to outpace to the next one. And this Hydro Cannon is either going to get the second shield or take out the Sableye. It actually gets the shield, so I'm immediately going to switch into my Staraptor and snipe. And this game is pretty much over, because again, we have a shield advantage and we should be able to get to the close combat. Swampert is trying to build up to the back-to-back Hydro Cannons, but we get to the close combat before that. And this is easily going to take out the Swampert from that range there. So, honestly, I think they could have played that a little bit better if they didn't shielded the Sableye, and if they had preserved the shield for Swampert. It could have been slightly tricky there. I guess this is probably moving on to the next one here, we have Swampert into a Lickitung, which is okay. Honestly, this is actually a pretty good matchup for both my back Pokemon, because I have 2 better responses, because those licks are double resisted. I do switch in my Pidgeot this time, because we can tank those body slams just a little bit better, and I'm going to let the second body slam go through as well. And once again, the fact that they're not switching out tells me that this could be the double fighter line, right? Lickitung on the lead with double fighters in the back, in which case Staraptor is actually primed to sweep here. This is where I actually I threw this game basically, because I ended up throwing a Feather Dance on the Lickitung for some reason. I should have just straight gone for Brave Bird to either guarantee the knockout or get shields. But I come back with my Swampert to basically soak up the Ice Punch. And now I'm going to go for the Hydro Cannon here. The reason I come in with my Swampert is I want to fire off the Hydro Cannon so that I can basically come in and snipe with Staraptor, which we managed to do, which is great, right? And now, again, this is where I make a little bit of a mistake. They actually come with that Machamp. As you can see, Gust is absolutely tearing through Machamp. 3 Gusts basically takes out the Shadow Machamp. And this is what, I mean, I should have thrown the close combat here. I was trying to commit to the complete fast move farm down. And if I'd thrown the close combat, I probably could have gotten off 2 Hydro Cannons from Swampert. That was pretty close either way, but it's a game I should have definitely won there, right? Because with double flyers and they had double fighters in the back, I definitely should have won that. Moving on to I believe, the final battle of the video, we have a Toxicroak on the lead. Honestly, Toxicroak has nowhere to go against this team. All 3 of my Pokemon have winning matchups against it. And I'm going to try and catch a Mud Bomb on my Pidgeot here, but we don't catch the Mud Bomb. That's okay. We live a Sludge Bomb. We can let this go through. Sludge Bombs are going to do a ton of neutral damage. And now they make a switch into their Galarian Stunfisk. So just as well that we didn't shield the Sludge Bomb because, again, knowing that we probably would be stuck in a negative matchup, it was a good thing that we didn't basically shield that, right? I guess they were probably better off saving that energy to throw at Swampert later, but that's okay as well. They go for the Rock Slide here, and I'm going to basically come in my Swampert and go for the Hydro Cannon right away because they overfarm quite a bit. I don't want them to get to an Earthquake here. Hydro Cannon will be taking out the G-Fisk, and back in comes Toxicroak. I try to catch the Mud Bomb again, but we basically managed to snipe once again, getting the Gust through, and they have a Mew in the back. This game is pretty much over because those Shadow Claws are double resisted. We have a shield advantage, and there's no way they can get to 3 moves here, right? Again, we should be able to fast move farm it down here. I'm definitely going to shield whatever this is. Probably just going to be a Surf shield bait. Obviously, they're not going to go for the Wild Charge right away. They don't even need to go for a Wild Charge. But I mean, again, we get the Gust through, so I can safely shield this up. And yeah, this Gust is definitely going to take out the Mew from this range there. So definitely, as you can see, a lot of different Pokemon get completely walled by this team. You definitely love to see Ghost types in the back, certain Shadow Claw users. I mean, that's obviously a good spot to be in. We finished with the 3-2 set, not the most ideal. Again, like I said, this isn't the most reliable team out there for climbing Elo. But then again, it was just definitely a lot of fun to use. So anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. And I'll see you next time.